What up, boys, and welcome back to another TBC classic video. So in today's video, we're going to discuss a bit about the whole TBC is dying and how you can invest to make a ton of gold ahead of that. So pretty much everybody knew that with classic, like classic vanilla and classic TBC, that there will be insane amount of hype when the game releases and that it would slowly just dip out. And right now, WoW is not in the best place in general. Like, there's a lot of people who have canceled their subscriptions because there's so many big games coming out, like New World and Ashes, and then you have Final Fantasy hype that's going on, and also 9.1 released. So a lot of people that were just playing classic TBC waiting for new content on retail has gone back to retail. Now, I still personally really enjoy TBC, and I can definitely see a lot of people coming back for the different faces releasing in Classic because there's so many good raids in Classic. People will be super hyped to do like Mount Hyjal and Black Temple, Sunwell Plateau, and so on. So I'm not worried that TBC Classic will ever die out. But there's definitely just a matter of time before Blizzard will completely remove like different layers on the game, and that's gonna drive prices. Like it's definitely gonna drive prices up. Like history shows, even like when there's been like layer bugs. I'm not sure if you guys have mentioned those, but sometimes there's like a layering bug where it won't throw anybody onto like a second layer and you're just running around on layer one lagging like crazy, and that moment prices are just going drastically up. So that's basically what's going to happen when more people dip off classic TBC and Blizzard just removes all the layering. So I'm going to talk a bit about what I'm investing in and why I'm doing it, and the current price changes that we can already start to see in classic TBC. Before I do so, though, I do want to mention that you guys can still get the complete gold guide for Classic TBC. It's a book that I started to write way before Classic TBC came out. It's almost 100 pages long, and it contains the best gold farms in the expansion. So make sure to check out the book and use the code TBC, and you will get the book for 50% off. The link to it can be found down below in the description, but also at the pinned comment. So basically, if you look at items like, let's say we want to look at Corium bars, on most realms, they're still relatively low, right? And that's because like the hardcore boys have already used all the Corium bars that they would need. It's just the people that don't really have that much time to play, the so-called casuals, and also the hardcore boys leveling up their alts that needs gear. And that's the same with like all the materials like cleft tooth and heavy knot tied and all of that. It's the same. Prices are relatively stable, but we're slowly dipping down because it's mainly alts that needs the materials. So for me, that's not worth investing in because the hardcore community, they have already done like all the current rating, and they have like bis. They don't need the pre-raid bis gear anymore. So I don't see like a big need of these materials. Like some of these materials will be used whenever like new faces drop and you need these materials once again. So it's nice to have a decent amount of them, but I wouldn't overstock on something like this because we can look at, for instance, blacksmithing and look at, let's say, belts, and you can see that you need hardened adamantite bar to craft this belt, which is really decent, but you won't be able to craft it until phase 2. So people will need adamantite bars for that one, and similar materials with other professions as well. So it's worth keeping a decent amount of these and dropping them off as soon as people are starting to get the plans and the patterns. But what really is courting my interest is probably not a big shocker to some of you guys, but that would be Monotissel. Because Monotissel, it's kind of hard to get. The respawn rate is really low. And the only reason why it's the one that's steadily increasing in price on most realms is because it's tough to get, It's still in demand. People need it under alts. They need it whenever they clear the dungeons or the heroics or the raids on the remain. And it's going to be an insane demand once the different phases drop. And imagine farming Monotisel now. It's a pain in the ass. Now imagine if there's only one layer and you're competing against people literally camping older accounts on the different herb spawns. It's going to be tough to get. So I'm buying a bunch of Monotisel and saving them for phase 2. But I'm also going to invest a lot in Terracone. So Terracone is sitting at like 5 gold each, which is relatively expensive. It's my favorite herbalism farm to do, to farm Terracone. So I'm probably going to chill and do like a bunch of hours of Terracone and just save him until phase 2. Because Terracone is needed for alchemy, especially the utility pots for like haste pots and also heroic pot, but mainly the haste pot. So they're relatively expensive. And there's going to be a huge demand for these bad boys when phase 2 drops as well. There's still a huge demand for them right now. But once again, I've done this farm with a bunch of competition on my layer, and it sucks. Now, if there's only one layer and everyone needs Terracone to mass craft haste pots, it's gonna go up in price drastically. So that is my investment strategy, just keeping a bunch of the materials. Obviously, I'm going to keep my main focus on herbs for pots and flasks like Monotisel and Terracone, but I will also buy a bit of adamantite, corium. I'm even going to buy some cloth and make imbued netherweave with the cloth. And that's pretty much what I'm investing for phase 2. So let me know down below in the comment section what you are personally invested into phase 2 and what you think about the TBC Classic in general and everyone's comment about it dying out. And that's pretty much it for the video. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out the complete gold guide for Classic TBC, and I will see you all back in on tomorrow's video. But until then, bye bye.